As usual, this loss would fuel more victories, following this up with the death of a master and a Padawan on the planet Ladiv. After taking their lives, he finds the holopad that contained intel that brought the Jedi to this jungle world. It is an ancient Jedi temple, and finds that he can easily scale the wall and enter its hallowed halls. He laughs to himself at the sight of the Jedi statues erected to their own glory, noting that his statues were actually earned in triumphs over others, before slashing through these pathetic tributes. Continuing through, a bridge collapses, forcing a quick firing of the grapple hook to make it across. This was not the result of age, but this entire temple appeared to have deadly trials for any visitor, all which were nothing for his cyborg frame. He arrives at the sacred center and sees the magical glowing waterfall that the Jedi sought. Sticking his hand through it, he feels nothing. Then each of his limbs, still nothing. Frustrated at these silly Jedi tricks, he jumps in head first and is baffled by what he experiences. Seeming to float in space, he hears a voice ask him if he comes seeking knowledge. Proudly, Grievous claims that he needs nothing but the destruction of the Jedi. The voice mocks him, saying his destruction has destroyed himself. And in a flash, Grievous is returned to Kemanjai Shilal, desperate to say how he is so much stronger in his cyborg state, that now he strikes fear into the Jedi. But the voice cuts him off, declaring he seeks to destroy a power which he does not understand, that he had carved away his connection to it. And Grievous panics as he watches his limbs falling off, as the voice says that instead he has replaced his divine, force-connected body with that of a machine, a petty form of power that he does understand. But that understanding is not strength. This experience ends as Grievous is so fallen apart that he has disparate organs floating away in space. Intestines, heart, eyes, and brain all drifting apart. The voice says that this material is small. He is small, and that is all he will ever be. Grievous comes out of this experience unchanged. He furiously slashes at the stream to no avail. So he retreats to a nearby cliff and calls in the coordinates to a Providence class overhead, demanding a complete orbital bombardment be unleashed on this single spot. He would stare at the smoldering sight for hours as day turned into night, saying to that voice, quote, "For all your talk of power, you burn just as easily." But as he turns away from this mystical sight, we see the glow of this portal to the Force is still glowing bright. Grievous made sure to distract himself from this experience by launching another series of successful campaigns, starting with Felucia, completely overwhelming the Republic forces, and his units would have been able to get revenge on Ahsoka if Obi-Wan and Skywalker did not force her to retreat. From here, it would be a devastating strike on Doran, the homeworld of Plo Koon species, the Keldor, a campaign which served the purpose of ensuring that the Republic was occupied and would hold off their attack on Geonosis, allowing Poggle the Lesser to complete the construction of the ray shield that protected the largest droid factory of the CIS. Dooku could not have been too upset with his general at this point, as Grievous now commands the larger variant of the requisite class light destroyer. Using its numerous turbolaser batteries and tractor beam, they are able to capture Ethkoth's Venator. Grievous storms the bridge with his commando droids, stepping back to allow them to do the dirty work and isolate the Jedi Master. Grievous engages in saber combat and allows the IG-100s to give him an advantage, honor becoming an ever-diminishing idea. If his body was an extension of his power, he was now seeing the entire droid army as merely an extension of himself. The Electrostaffs render Koth unconscious, and the Separatists flee to the Saluki system. Grievous could not resist using this opportunity to strike fear into the Jedi, sending a holo recording to Coruscant declaring his hatred for their kind.
A leading member of your Jedi Council, I do not care about your politics. I do not care about your republic. I only live to see you die.
This message was encrypted and untraceable, but Wolf's keen eye noticed that the Master was using sign language to give up their location. Grievous returns to the bridge to have his tactical droid inform him that a large fleet was about to jump out of hyperspace. When Venators, Acclamators, and Chargers pop out, the General is confident in his massive warship. Becomes locked in once Kenobi hails him.
General, I knew one day I'd catch up to you.
Kenobi, what a surprise! I assume you are here to bring me to justice.
You know me too well.
The tractor beam is strong enough to bully the Arquidens, and Kenobi's vessel is dragged up to the massive requisite, just as Skywalker was performing his risky maneuver to secretly attach his transport to Grievous's vessel. Again, it would be commando droids that lead the assault into the captured Republic ship. clearing out the troopers, while the Magna Guards pushed Kenobi to the bridge. This was exactly what the Jedi was hoping for, drawing the general away from Eth Koth, while Skywalker and AUDIBLE made their way to the target. As commando droids held them off, Kenobi was trying to cut through the cyborg facade to get to whatever semblance of a heart Grievous might have, telling him that he has given up everything. He was no longer an honorable warrior, just to be Dooku's errand boy.
A futile quest for power, a mutilated body. Your place is Dooku's errand boy.
I'm no errand boy. I am the leader of the most powerful droid army the galaxy has ever seen.
An army with no loyalty, no spirit, just programming. What have you to gain?
The future. A future where there are no Jedi.
He may have lost his honor, connection to the gods, but he shows that he was still driven to be a powerful warlord. And by getting revenge on the Jedi who had denied him his victory on the Huk, these Jedi who were obsessed with their spirit and morality would be crushed by his lifeless droid forces, Grievous laughing all the way. This close-quarters saber combat, with Grievous wielding 4 blades, pushed Kenobi to his limits. A Jedi considered one of, if not the greatest swordsman in the Order, though they seemed evenly matched. As if to stress his point, the Jedi uses his connection to this supernatural force to hurl Grievous's own bodyguards against him. Kenobi turns to him, giving him one last chance to escape, but the general knows he again needs to scurry away. Desperate to eliminate Kenobi by any means, he orders that his ship open fire on the Arquitans with him still on it. Grievous then has to smash his way through Cody's men and through AUDIBLE, who tries to intercept him. The explosions force the Jedi to give up pursuit, while the Republic forces scramble to rendezvous with Skywalker's shuttle. Grievous had escaped into a C-9979 landing craft after ordering the rest of the vessels to depart for the surface of Saluki as well. But debris from the massive explosions crashed into his ship, forcing them to fire off the escape pods. This was a rapid reversal of Grievous's advantage, from super ship to scattered escape pods, and Admiral Yularen wanted to use this opportunity to finally put an end to this nightmare, bringing the entire fleet down to Saluki and spreading across the world to search each of the crash sites. Grievous hoped to use the comms in the pod to reach CIS command, but his had been damaged on impact. Luckily, there was another pod a few kilometers away, but they would have to make it there on foot, and Grievous found out that it was possible to hate his droid troops even more.
Sir, we need to get our power recharged.
Not this again. How could your power cells be so depleted?
Slashing through them, outraged at the fact that these B1s could be both imbeciles and have weaknesses of the flesh like fatigue. By nightfall, they were finally able to make it to the other pod, and a distress signal rushed a Separatist shuttle to their location. Every second would count as Kenobi's forces had detected the general and were closing in. ATTE walkers would engage, while the Jedi nearly cut the general in half. But again, his saber skills would keep Obi-Wan off, allowing him to scramble up the wreckage and connect his grapple hook to the shuttle, flying away before it even needed to land, laughing as the bolts harmlessly flew by.